Okay, we're getting ready to start with our water barrel. These are this is the stuff we're going to need to get started.
Look, what you're going to need, you're going to need a 1/2 inch galvanized coupling. It's female on both ends. You're going to need up to, it depends on where it's going to sit on your pin. We use a 3-inch because they go through the fence good for us. So that's what we use. You're going to need a bulkhead. Some things to remember about these bulkheads. You can get them anywhere. I got this one at Ace. It's a white plastic. They have a black one too. And we have found that the black ones don't hold up as good as the white ones. These take a little bit more abuse. With your nipples, the ones you buy at Tractor Supply are made for high pressure. Candy got these online. She got a pack of these and they're not, so you don't really have to do anything to them. But the ones you'll get from Tractor Supply, you'll unscrew this end on it. And when you get it unscrewed, you'll look down inside of here and it'll have a little white disc. You need to take a pocket knife and pop that white disc out of there because those nipples are designed for high pressure. And if you don't pop that disc out of them, they won't work as a gravity-fed water. Alright, you can cut your barrel any way you want to cut them. We started off cutting them around here because they're easier to get in and they're easier to cut to make it. But what I'm finding is if you have to move the barrel from one spot to the other and it's got water in it, and you've cut the top, cut it down here, when you move it, the barrel flexes. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go ahead and get the top cut off this barrel, and then she'll start it back up after the top's off and we'll show you where to go from there. Well, let me make sure this blade's going to work. Alright, we've got the top cut off. Now what we got to do is you're going to have to drill a hole in the side near the bottom. It's where you're going to put your bulkhead in. I found that an 1.25-inch paddle bit works really good, but what you got to remember is the inside of these barrels are going to be tapered a little bit, and that bulkhead needs to set flush on the inside and the outside. So you need to cheat it up a little bit, and the way if you want to know, take the inside piece of your bulkhead. You're going to have to be able to grip it on the inside. So just kind of set it up. Probably want it about right there. And if you look inside your barrel, you can see that you're off the bend on the inside, so I would cheat it up. You might lose a little bit of your water space, but if you keep these good and full, you're not going to have an issue. Alright, you'll notice that 1.25 inches, it's going to be a little tight. It won't fit all the way down in there, and I do that on purpose because it helps with the seal better. So what you're going to have to do is before you do that, just take a pocket knife or something and just kind of shave around a little bit on the inside because you want it good and tight when it goes in. You almost want to have to be able to thread it in there. Alright, this is a personal preference. You can do this however you want to do it. I like to put all this together before I put it all in. Teflon tape, especially using the galvanized on the plastic, isn't necessarily something you have to use, but I like to use it just to help seal it up. You're just going to put it together, get it all put together. Of course, you're going to need a pipe wrench so you can get everything tightened down. Don't go super tight. I learned this the hard way, is that if you go too tight with these galvanized in the plastic, your bulkhead, you will have just wasted because it'll break the bulkhead, it'll split the plastic. So you just want to get it in there good and snug.
Wash your hands often, especially after you receive a package in the mail or handle items at a store. Keep distances from others. Wave instead of shaking hands. And do not touch your face. If you get sick, stay home unless you need medical attention. As we should always do, think of others and not just ourselves. There will be cases in our community, so be prepared by practicing healthy habits. A COVID-19 health reminder from WKLS Rock 1059. Hi, this is Kevin Reagan, General Manager
Always make sure everything's tight, because once it's in there, it's in there. Once you get everything snug down, because everything's tightening the same way, it's easier just to grab the nipple and just tighten the whole thing. Now this is what I'm going to say when I'm telling you it's going to be tight. You just have to keep playing with it to get it in. But right, what I always do, you don't have to do this because the bulkhead is supposedly self-sealing, but I like to put some clear RTV all the way around it. That way when you seal it, you know you have a good seal. Plus you'll find that pigs like to flick these things, and when they do, that's going to be your weak point.
He was talking about the size of the nipple. We put ours on the outside of the panel so that they're not knocking them over, and the nipple goes inside the pin. And the flicking them, they'll try to get as much water out of them to make a waller hole right there.
You kind of get them set in place. Now here's the fun part. This is where it's going to take whoever's helping you do these to do this, because you have to actually get inside the barrel to put the bulkhead on. One thing you need to remember about a bulkhead, they are left-handed threads, so make sure you look. First time I did them, I ruined one because I kept thinking they were a normal thread and I ended up breaking the threads. Same way with this, just make sure it's all put together right. We're going to shut the video off because she's going to have to hold it in place while I get up inside there, but just tighten this down, then we'll show you at the end what it looks like. Alright, we didn't silicone the inside, so we went ahead and put some water in to show y'all how they work. As you can see, just push the nipple down, the water comes out. Of course, the farther they push it in, the more it's going to come out. It is spring loaded. A couple things I want you to remember when making these: the bulkhead is plastic. Don't over tighten it. I've split a couple of them over tightening them just because that's the way we like to over tighten things. The rubber gaskets will get a good seal, and your weak point's going to be a hog that's going to flick them. But I've seen them flick them and they flex up to here and they're still in place. What we do at the farm to keep mosquitoes from getting in it, leaves and stuff to get in it, if you take an old t-shirt, either zip tie the sleeve shut or tie them in a knot, and then take the neck and zip tie it shut. T-shirt will fit right over top of this. That way when you pour your water in, it's not only filtering the water out, but it keeps other stuff from going in. Any questions, PM us. Just remember, this whole setup right here is probably less than 25 bucks. Your bulkhead's about 10 bucks, your nipple's going to be about 10 bucks, probably about $2, could be $3 or $4 depending. Most of us, because we farm, have Teflon tape laying around, and if you're like me, you have clear RTV silicone laying everywhere. So there you go.
Have fun!